Daylight, my MVVs, welcome. Ooni of Ife's palace is alleged to have turned upside down. Almost as we are hearing it too. They say Igbi and Blublo have turned the palace of the Ooni of Ife upside down over the fact that they have dragged Dr. Elizabeth to Odua traditional court. Why? They said that Dr. Elizabeth has become an enabler, that she is one of the major reasons why they are not allowed to feel free in their matrimonial home and to live in their matrimonial home. Now, if the information we are getting is the truth, they said the Oloris are actually not inside the palace right now. That they are married to the Ooni of Ife quite well, but there is a place that is called Oloris Quarters, a very sophisticated edifice that was bought and renovated for them. Gloriously renovated, a beautiful place. If you know the Ooni of Ife, he has got tests, big tests, okay? His test board is high, and whoever is associated with him, they said he wants that person to enjoy royalty to the last point. And that is exactly, they said this place has its swimming pool. They said this place has its game house, a gym, everything just the way they have in the palace of the Ooni of Ife. They have servants, they have maidens, they have security, they have light, solar, power, and everything. That happens to be where the Oloris are staying. Even though it is also alleged that the Oloris are actually hiding that fact, as we are hearing, if the information is true, that they themselves are hiding the fact that a lot of them, friends still do not know. Friends who come to the palace to look for them and all of that. So basically, they don't tell their friends that they are no longer there, but we heard that they are no longer there. And now, time and time again, they said when they will forced to kind of see Kabiyesi at certain times that Dr. Elizabeth will call ungodly times and all of that. They said Dr. Elizabeth is the one who is inside the palace right now. And the reason why she is inside the palace is because Olori Naomi said that Ooni of Ife cannot stay like that by himself. And so they said Dr. Elizabeth has always been an obstacle, a hindrance, working against their return into the palace, that there were times where they want to see their husband that they are legally, traditionally married to, that Dr. Elizabeth will stand in their way and say they cannot see the Ooni of Ife. And they know very well that it's not the Ooni of Ife that is giving Dr. Elizabeth that authorization to do that. It's something she is doing out of her own, animosity towards them. And that is why they want the traditional council court to deal with that issue and put an end to it, because they have tried to speak to the Ooni of Ife about it, but the Ooni of Ife does not see it as anything, because every time they try to talk about it, they say the Ooni of Ife is always defending Dr. Elizabeth. So they decided to bring one of them to the traditional court so that they can deliberate on it and see what they can do about it. And they said these incidents have pissed the Ooni of Ife off so much. The thing is that they say anybody that the gods want to buy, they want to buy them, they will make them mad first. On the other hand, you are trying to renegotiate your entrance into the palace. Then the next sweep, you are further estranging yourself from the Ooni of Ife, because we do hear time and time again that Ooni of Ife himself does not play with Dr. Elizabeth. You want to be on the good books of Ooni of Ife, you must know that Dr. Elizabeth is one of those people you do not touch. You touch Dr. Elizabeth, you touch the Ooni of Ife. At least that is what we are hearing. Ooni of Ife trusts Dr. Elizabeth. Ooni of Ife believes that Dr. Elizabeth has always been there for him, and he does not like people playing or trying to take her for granted. He fights that with everything that he has got. No matter what you do for a person in this world, You may, be the one giving that person life. You may be the one giving that person bread, or whatever you're doing for that person is in this world. You don't put your fingers in someone's mouth and hit them on the top of their head, because if you do that, they will bite and remove that finger. Now, you know that, sometimes when we begin to dig pits, we should be very careful, because when you dig a pit for another person, you are likely to fall in there. Now, as we kept hearing the story, remember when Kabiyesi married all of these women, he also married Dr. Elizabeth. Dr. Elizabeth is his second wife, not his last wife as people are thinking. Then after he married Dr. Elizabeth, they said Dr. Elizabeth, developed cold feet and said that she wasn't coming again, that they should return Kabiyesi's bride price. The marriage, that she didn't know they were in fact, it was a whole lot of stuff. While the parents and everybody, they were trying to talk to Dr. Elizabeth, Dr. Elizabeth said she wasn't coming again. Now, Naomi had become so furious at that time. That was when we kept hearing, I would never. She was never going back to the palace of the Ooni of Ife. They said it was this same Igbi that went and started negotiating. Dr. Elizabeth must come back. Whatever Dr. Elizabeth wants, Kabiyesi was going to do. Well, Dr. Elizabeth must come back. At that time, Igbi realized that Kabiyesi had started going back to loving Queen Naomi. Kabiyesi had seen that even with all the women that he got married to, he could not find the desired peace that he wants. Kabiyesi got to that point where he realized that, yes, so I still want my Naomi back. So they said what Igbi did, Igbi started going back to was negotiating to bring Dr. Elizabeth, and succeeded. Dr. Elizabeth now agreed to come. Why did she do that? She did that because she thought that if Dr. Elizabeth is celebrated back into the palace, Naomi will vex completely. And that was what happened. She was happy. She won and all of that. She didn't know that she was bringing in her own karma. Yes, so you heard me right. She did not know she was bringing in her own karma. As it is alleged, rumored, reported, making the rounds on social media. I do not live in the palace of the Ooni of Ife, neither am I related to the monarch or anybody. I'm a blogger. When I get an information, I reenact it and I post it here. And I said to Dela Wright, whatever you see on social media, you need to take it with a pinch of salt, okay? These are all alleged, rumored, speculated information. She did not know she was bringing in her own karma. Now she brought the woman. When the woman came and studied the entire, she's very smart, really smart woman. I love her for that. When she studied the entire situation, she knew what was playing out and she decided to take the right path. And here we are today. Now, she is standing and fighting so hard to ensure that and these women do not return back to that palace, no matter what they do. And so every time they want to see, she is the one inside and she will say they should not. And that is why they feel that as though she is an enabler. She is one of the major reasons why Kabiyesi is not returning them back to the palace. And so she took them to, they took her to the traditional court, Odua traditional court. And they say, she won them in the traditional court too, that she has won with flying colors. They say that she's not the one making the decision. It's Kabiyesi. And if Kabiyesi says bow, you bow. And that's exactly what they are expected to do. I'm going to bring you more update. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.